Holding space. I want to share with you what I've learned and how I hold space. So, if you're facilitating other people, what you're actually doing is acknowledging parts of them that they have not accepted about themselves, or they were afraid to go there, or they were judging that part of themselves, or it was just too heavy to go there. So, for example, when I hold space for someone, what I'm doing is if if there was a 5-year-old that was abused, for example, what I'm doing is I'm feeling that 5-year-old with no judgment. And I'm opening a space of, I feel you, I see you, I hear you, and there's compassion in the system. And what happens is that 5-year-old suddenly feels protected, safe, heard, seen, and now will transform into an adult. So the energies will be released. Now, so in a session, I am doing that, and also in the groups, I'm doing that. Now, there's a part of me feeling, seeing, accepting each person, what they went through. It doesn't mean it's mine, but I am sensing what's in them and just staying with them in that field. For example, when I do sessions, the max sessions I will do, because of the level of transformation that I'm doing in the sessions, I work with 4 people a day maximum, because I'm reading systems, I'm feeling systems. So that for me is my limit in the system. So it's important, if you're holding space, to find out what is your limit. And also I'm aware that what's mine and what's that person's. So after the session, or during the session, I'm aware that what opens, what I see the 5-year-old, for example, go back to the 5-year-old, maybe I was 5 as well, or 3, where something happened to me. Now that could activate a memory field within my system that I ignored, or I wasn't ready to feel. So in a way, that session has opened another system within me, which I can then do my own homework. So I'm very, very open to doing that within a session. And I know what happens within a session. So I know what's mine and I know what's theirs. Now, if I go in and try to save the 5-year-old or take the 5-year-old's experience from them, then I'm not being clear in the system. That's different. So when I finish a session, I'm reflecting what's mine, what's the person's, and I'm stepping out of what is theirs and honoring what parts are mine, and I will work it in my system then. Now, at the same time, of course, it's like, I don't know, you see a 5-year-old who's been abused or something, you feel for them, So it takes a moment to basically clear your system. It works in your system. And because there's compassion. If I'm not doing that, I'm not in compassion. I'm seeing it. I'm not connecting with it. I'm not sensing it. So there's the transformation field will not be so active or so deep. So the sessions I do is about a cellular. For me, it's about a cellular impact. I want to create a cellular impact in the system if it's open to it. So to do that, I know I have to, sit in my system, sit in my cells, and to connect what's happening within me cellularly. So I'm sort of feeling the person's transformation as well in my system, but I know it's their system. And I know if anything opens within me, which belongs to me, I will work with myself. It's nothing to do with them. And then I allow them to drop into their experience. So for me, it's hands off. I will let them drop in the experience. This is a big key. So if I don't let them drop, they're not going to have the full transformation. So for me, I hold space and I will let them drop into that experience and hold space. And this is where the transformation really goes to another level in the system. So I'm very hands-off in that sense. Yes, I'm open frequencies, I'm opening codes. My system has a lot of information, so it's sharing it with that person's system and giving them the opportunity to transform it themselves. I know when I step out of the system, it's done, about this interaction, it's complete. But it is working within my system too, because I also may have patterns that I also need to work through. Because it's always an exchange, it's always a gift. It's a blessing to do sessions with somebody or to work with groups, because it will activate some stuff in you. That's just how it works. So it's like, it's impossible to say that you're not affected by a session or not affected by a group. As I say, that's why I have my limit of 4, because I know that I need to integrate what I've transformed within my own system, what's opened in my system, and then to work my system myself, okay, or get someone to hold space for me. So this is how I hold space for others. So when you hold space, it's going to open up your own topics. It's important to know what's yours, what's theirs. And then there's a part as well that, you connect to the higher self of yourself, the higher self of the person, and you leave it up to the divine to do the work. I don't need to know the details, and I don't need to know all the results. So it works by itself. And that is really, really how I hold space. Of course, it's got the experience or different techniques I've worked with over the years are also in my vibrational field. So they may come up in the system and they may work in the system, but they will come up itself. Every time I hold space, it's from a clean field. So even if I worked with a person 10 times, I never bring the old information to them. I see them as a clean person, and I reconnect where I'm at and where they're at. And then the system will bring up the information we need to transform in that session. And every session is unique and different. And I know that. And every experience I have is different, because I'm different. They're different. The field is different. It's always evolving. So every session is about evolution and will support you to evolve too. So if I feel guilty, if I feel responsible for them, then I'm in the system. That's different. Now the system in me gets heavy. I do not feel guilty. I do not feel responsible. Everybody's on their own journey. As heavy as it goes, they can handle it. They chose it on a soul level. I'm in compassion. I've supported them. I've connected with the 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old. But I know they can handle it because their higher self chose this experience. So they're on their journey. So when I'm complete in a session, I'm complete. And I know they have their guide, their higher self supporting them, because they'll only open what they can handle in a session. So that's why I'm very clear about my own boundaries, my own limits. I'm very clear about that, if you're working, like I work with very heavy topics as well, a lot of, heavy topics. So of course I need a little detox from the system. I think it's pretty human to do that, and it's needed in the system. So I need a little bit of space, also between the sessions as well. So that's how I do the sessions. And then the group work is a different field. It opens up more information, and it's working more in the divine, and made different topics pop off related to the group field topic, and it starts transforming. So what I wanted to bring in today was really about boundaries, knowing that things will definitely open in your system if you hold space for others. But what's yours and what's theirs is different. They were not in your childhood, so it's different. You're supporting somebody through transformation, and then you can reflect and write down the topics that opened, which is resonating in your system. And I always work through them myself. So I like to use that opportunity. I know Spirit brings the right topics, what I need to address myself, related to, it's always a mirror within the sessions too. So where's that part of me? So I'm very open to reflecting, working in my own system. And yeah, I know my limits in my system. So that's just a few keys of how I hold space. I thought it may be useful for you if you're holding space for others. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.